Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mark.
And
today we're gonna talk. Today we're gonna talk about a movie that was just.
Is it a treat or was it a?
It was a rage dump for me.
Yeah, it was. It was an experiment in poor storytelling.
So I'll just tell you the name of it. The Tracker, right?
Yeah,
The Tracker. It's 2019, I think. Or 2020, and it was starring Dolph Lundgren and nobody else. But anyway, there's kind of a lot I do want to talk about this. So let's get started.
I don't know if we should give a spoiler warning because I'm not really sure I know what happened.
Well, it's funny because I was just going to mention that it usually falls on you to give a recap of the movies. So good luck. Go ahead and do it.
All right. So the movie opens up with Dolph Lundgren. Well, no, it doesn't open up with Dolph Lundgren at all. It actually opens up with a little boy,
young Dolph Lundgren, supposedly.
Yeah. And it says Northern Europe, 1968 or 1963. The font for these dates and times were tiny.
I had to lean forward, and we have a pretty decent sized telly.
And so, anyway, it says like this date and. Meanwhile, they look like they're dressed like paupers from 1902.
Like if you've ever seen 8 Men Out, the story about the 1912 Black Sox scandal or 1917 the Red Sox scandal, wherever it was, where they cheated at baseball. Like he looks like one of the kids from that movie. Like say it ain't so, Joe.
Yeah, they look like the kid looks like a newsie, and the father looks like he just got back from, a union bust. So, anyway, like it shows them
hunting.
Hunting. Like he's teaching them how. He's teaching the little tiny Dolph Lundgren how to be a tracker. It's not a hunter. No,
there's a difference.
There's a difference. You're both tracker, hunter, and victim, or something like that.
You
Which
have to
didn't
understand your prey in order to kill it properly.
Yeah, and from there it goes ahead a few years to modern. Or no, was it 2000?
It was like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, and it's Dolph Lundgren just kind of lumbering about like a Frankenstein at during a party.
Like. After the tracking sequence of them showing how to hunt as a kid, the movie gets so
disjointed.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like the easiest thing to follow is the father teaching the son how to track.
Yeah, like that was straightforward. It was probably the best 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that's saying something.
And Dolph Lundgren, like I say, he's looming around, and like his wife and his daughter run away for some reason,
or they're kidnapped or something like that. They're taken away,
and like Dolph Lundgren stomps after them, and then they're taken in a car, and he's following them. But then there's points where he's kind of standing around.
Yeah, there comes a point where like the car with the kidnappers just kind of stop. And they're like just, I guess taking a leak or something. I don't know. And Dolph Lundgren's just sitting there like watching them like, now might be a good chance for you to to make your move and rescue them.
Like maybe they just like filmed a SAG movie break, like that like a union.
Yeah, they had to take the break.
Yeah, they had to take the break, and the camera operator just thought, or the director thought, I'm just gonna at least film this portion.
Like, listen, we need to make it to an hour 30, which they didn't even. It was an hour and 27.
And there was at least I'll get to that. But then there's some old man chained up.
And he escapes from his prison.
And then there was people shooting at him, and that I don't think has anything to do with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, they just kind of
they shoot at him, and I think he dies. And then Dolph's wife like takes her burlap sack hat off, and or her burlap hood, and the person keeps on trying to put it back on her, but instead just suffocates her, and she dies. And presumably the little girl dies too, but she dies off camera.
Yeah, they couldn't show that, I guess. Yeah. She died of heartbreak, I guess.
Yeah.
So...
like her pony died earlier that day.
Like flash forward another 10 years or something like that, and Dolph Lundgren's back in the town, and...
yeah.
And then I don't know what happens. And he kind of... There's like this
it's just a
crime boss named Lupo.
Yeah. And it's just a series of scenes where Dolph Lundgren's just kind of stomping about southern Italy, getting lost.
Yeah, and then he finds his way to their evil villa, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how it was so hard to find their villa in the first place, because A, it's a giant villa,
yeah,
and B, there's a bunch of guys with ski masks on, just wandering, guarding the place outside with assault rifles. Like, yeah, this is probably a bad guy's fortress.
And meanwhile, there's this other subplot where there's a policeman investigating, I think, the murder of Dolph Lundgren's family.
Yeah, there's a new cop on the beat kind of thing. New detective.
And he's new to the area, and I think he has an American wife, and she's was she not American?
She was definitely not American. She had a weird accent too.
Oh, did she? I missed it. Like we were bickering over this movie the entire time.
The little ones need your help. I don't know who that was. It sounds like a bad impression of some like random celebrity.
Yeah, it's like the backwards talking scene from Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Don't eat the clues.
And and he's kind of investigating what's going on, and there might be these cops in on the take, but it's kind of not really well established. And then there's this fat guy
who just keeps on inviting people to his apartment to show him conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he's shown several people like this conspiracy board where there's like it's your typical map with the lines and
strings everywhere, the pictures of people. So honestly, I know it sounds like we're just rambling with this movie, but that is literally like the movie. The movie is a rambling story.
Like I like to think we would have. I don't know. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of what's going on. And then there's just a point where Dolph Lundgren's Frankensteining through the woods and looking through his scope at people, and then just sleeping.
Yeah, he just takes a nap.
And then he finds the villa. Yeah,
like I don't know if Dolph Lundgren was just showing his age, because he takes a lot of breathers in this movie.
Yeah, he is. Actually, Alexa, how old is Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren is 63 years old.
So he's
born on November 3rd, 1957.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken.
You know what? No, I don't want to hear it. If Dick Van Dyke can still dance around on stage at 98 years old without taking a break, and then friggin' then the Russian from Rocky IV can do the same thing.
Like he's paying for all those injections that he was he was getting in his early years.
Yeah,
like back when they were hooking him up to the machines.
Like there was actually there was like 6 different needles that injected him at once in those machines. It was amazing. It was a thing of beauty.
It was efficient.
It was like the Bane from the Batman and Robin movie, where they had just constant
just tubes.
Yeah, just running into him. But you know what? He almost beat Rocky. I guess that's good. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about this movie now. We're done. We're done with the rambling nonsense.
Where do we begin?
I have a few things I want to begin with.
All right, go ahead.
Because in the middle of watching this, I picked this movie specifically because I was kind of looking for a bad action movie. Because we were watching for the podcast, we've watched quite a bit of string of decent movies for the last couple of times. Even Cats was a decent movie. Like, we haven't seen a really bad stinker in a long time.
Yeah, and it was time to give you guys a stinker again. We owe it to you.
Yeah.
And
so like there are a few things I want to address mainly, and and I have a few answers to them. So, like, the main question, I know I usually ask this for horror movies, but I'm gonna ask for this.
What could we do better?
What could you do to make this movie a little bit better, aside from the obvious, like, maybe tell a coherent story? That's given.
It's really hard to say, because in order to improve upon a story, I have to know what the story is.
So define motivations and,
Yeah, like, it's obviously a revenge movie.
Yeah.
And he's kind of going after this group of people that are somehow responsible for the death of his family.
Yeah.
I would say an alien invasion. Like,
I have a few ideas that might make this a little bit better. And oddly enough, like, it starts with the bare basics, which is, we know the bad guy's name is Lupo because we were making fun of it the entire movie.
Yeah, we did.
But other than the fact that he accidentally killed his wife, like, do you know anything about this villain? There's nothing that makes him memorable. There's no moment where hero and bad guy are, kind of meeting up at any point.
Not really. He kind of finds him in passing, and, like,
he finds him by accident.
Yeah. And Lupo and him kind of, Lupo just kind of begs, and then one of
Lupo's shot.
He begs and then gets shot, and pretty anticlimactic in terms of a villain death. But that being said, we don't really know what he was a villain of. Like, supposedly there's drugs involved.
Yeah,
and
we
Albanians.
saw some drug. Yeah, we saw some drugs, and we saw some Albanians.
Yeah.
But we didn't know, like, other than just, I'm a drug guy and I like to do drug things. There is really nothing that really, like, connects us with the villain in any way, shape, or form. He's not even an effective just being a bad guy. But I think I have an idea that might have made him more interesting.
Go on.
So in this movie, he has a sidekick who's a woman who looks like Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, little Wednesday Addams.
And she's far younger than him, but I guess there's some sort of romantic relationship. I think they kiss a few times.
Oh, did they?
I think so. Might have been a kiss on the cheek of friendship. You never know.
I kind of assumed it was a father-daughter relationship.
But that kind of brings me to my next thing. It would be far more interesting if this daughter character, this Wednesday Addams, was Dolph Lundgren's daughter from earlier in the movie.
Interesting.
Like, he took her in, kind of brainwashed her, and so there's much more emotion, like, well, shit, can I kill her now? Because she's trying to kill me.
Yeah,
like she's lost all her humanity,
Yeah, she's been, she needs a significant deprogramming, because she was maybe 7, 8.
Yeah, so, but, like, it's been 10 years or so where she's been, trapped in there, and
she probably has, like, some massive Stockholm syndrome psychoses going on.
And there'd be a couple interesting things, like, you wouldn't maybe he encounters her a few times, with the bad guy, and the bad guy uses this to his advantage.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, fuck, I can't kill her, and it allows the bad guy to get away a few times, and then the cop that he's helping out, like, maybe the cop in the middle of a shootout kills her, he does in the movie. Well, now there's an extra layer of tension between him and this cop. And it's like, because he knows that he did what was right, but at the same time, like, he just killed his daughter.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking, it's crushing, and it's like, that would just, it's not hard. Like, you have this character and you didn't show the daughter being killed in any way, shape, or form. It's a little thing. It's not hard. You don't have to there's no money that you need to add to it to make this change.
There was no additional. This is a project where, or a point in a project where you give off what you've written and give it off to another person for feedback, and they'll usually give you all right, this is good, but let's improve upon it here.
Yeah.
And this was either a first draft
movie
or just a movie made to launder money somehow.
It was a front.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Fantastic Four, the Roger Corman one.
Yeah.
Where it's like they had to use their Dolph Lundgren or they lose the rights to their Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. Some Italian filming company has the the official rights of Dolph Lundgren, and they just have to use him every once in a while or they'll lose him.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there was like 6 or 7 production companies.
Yeah.
Like there was a shit ton of splash screens.
Like we started counting them at a certain point. It's like, wow, we have another one. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like I really think they just made up production companies so that like they could add to the runtime of the movie.
Probably. Like, what else is
Blue Horse Productions.
That's good. How about Football Team Productions?
Rock'em Sock'em Productions.
Lamp Productions. And so we have kind of a good way to improve upon the movie.
At least we have a good way to improve upon the villain. Like, we can make the villain much more interesting and add some more tension between him and the hero. So we have that part taken care of.
The other thing is we don't know who Dolph Lundgren was.
Yeah.
He was just a guy whose family died.
Like, we're assuming I don't know what his job was. Was he a tracker for like the CIA or something? I don't know. We don't know.
I don't know. Like, maybe he tracked local deer for lazy hunters.
Yeah. He's like, there's a deer over here. I don't know who that was either. That was a backward talking.
Gosh, there's a deer over there.
No, the secret of hunting is to be the hunter and the prey and the victim.
You gotta be the apex predator.
You gotta you gotta pick off the weaker ones, because that's the only way that the flock will survive.
You're doing the world a service.
So, like, and that brings us to the next thing. What can we do to make Dolph Lundgren a more interesting protagonist?
It's all right. Well, we've established he's a tracker,
I guess, yeah.
And like the stereotype is that he's a former military
That's what
specialist. I think we could do better than that somehow, but I have no idea.
Well, here's, I guess, what I'm thinking about this is, first of all, if you're gonna have a movie called The Tracker and you're gonna show that, beginning where he's learning how to track, maybe we should see a scene in the movie or two where he's tracking.
Yeah, maybe open up with him, tracking some kind of animal.
Like, even when he's hunting down these guys, he's not tracking them. He just wanders around aimlessly and finds them.
Finds them by accident.
And it's like, well, the movie doesn't get resolved because of really anything he did. Like, he didn't do anything special. He just showed up. Like,
I guess I can be a good tracker if I look up someone's name in the phone book.
It's like that old King of the Hill joke where Dale becomes a bounty hunter. Scott, thought you could hide from me, huh? Pointing to the name in the phone book. And it's like, yeah, that is exactly what this movie is about. So I think, and again, this isn't really going to add too much, but I would almost have it be an obscure level of tracking to the point where we as an audience don't know what he's doing or what he's finding, but we know that he's doing something.
So kind of like he closes his eyes and it's like a Daredevil whooshing effect where it shows a perspective that only he can perceive. Like, he closes his eyes and the camera whooshes through the trees and like sees guys hiding behind the trees with guns or something like that.
Yeah, something along that, like,
almost an extrasensory thing.
Like, we do I think he kind of did it when he was showing the old man getting his throat cut. That was another plot point. Some old guy gets his throat cut.
Yeah, we don't know who he is and why he dies.
But like, kind of doing something like that where he's kind of surrounded by the people. Like, early on, like a team of mercenaries come to kill him, or bad guys come to kill him, and he just shoots them and takes their gun and that's it. But maybe have him like sitting outside his own house, or he knows there's something coming, and closes his eyes and he almost has like this mental picture of the forest, and you whoosh through and you see like maybe a stick bent at an odd angle, or like the grass patted down in one place, or a leaf like at an odd angle, and then you kind of then you can kind of see like he's using that to spot where they are.
Or I'll go one better. It's you have that effect where a stick's bent at one angle and patted down grass here and there, and he has almost a Sherlock Holmes recreation of what occurred there.
Mm-hmm. And and again, you don't need to have any special effects. You just have to show maybe a guy stepping on it, like backwards.
Yeah.
Reverse the footage. People have been able to do that since like the 1910s.
Yeah.
And like it kind of comes to a head maybe in that scene or another action scene where, you know, he's doing his thing, he's doing this big fight, and then he just, without looking, just kind of throws a knife, you know, to like his right, and just as a guy's about to whoosh around the tree and shoot him, and it hits him, like almost like he knew this guy was coming. And it's like, again, that doesn't add anything. That's not a lot of money, but you can just, oh wow, this guy's a badass, you know?
Yeah. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It is definitely frustrating when you. It's almost like filmmakers don't actually watch movies.
It's like they, you know what it is? Again, I really think this might have been some kind of front, or you know, there's some
money laundering. Like the Albanians in the movie were the real Albanians that were delivering the drugs. Like they actually filmed the drug. The
drugs were real.
Yeah, the drugs were real. They just filmed in their local compound.
That was the only way to keep the cops off them. Yeah. Like if they're filming this is for a movie, like the cops wouldn't ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if they didn't have the cameras rolling, the cops would be suspicious with the Albanians going around. You know. Like, oh no, those are stunt Albanians. That's fine.
Well, you know how much it costs to import an Albanian here? Like, those aren't real.
But it's almost like filmmakers nowadays just don't have, at least, you know, for these low budget movies.
Yeah.
Just don't have any kind of imagination. And it's like, you know, like, why are you gonna tell us a story that's not worth being told?
Yeah. It's it is definitely baffling. So here's the question. Here's a question I have.
Sure.
We saw how they told it.
Okay.
We've established how it should be told. How would we tell it now?
Okay, so now here's where we get into the weird stuff.
Yeah.
I guess we would probably add some of those changes that we already talked about.
Yeah, like he has that kind of almost extrasensory, super sensitive, you know, to the environment around him.
And I would almost make it like, you know, we can keep that earlier scene where he's throwing a knife, and you know, that, I would make it ridiculous by the end, like so ridiculous that it almost stretches the bounds of
reality.
What is plausible. Like I want it to be where he's standing, you know, he's at this villa, and he's like doing all this tracking stuff, and like, you know, it's him versus the big bad guy, you know, kind of thing. Him and Lupo are fighting, you know, his daughter's dead, you know, from all the stuff from before, and he's dead to rights. Like, you know, the bad guy's got him beat, and he does his little whoosh thing, and it kind of goes up the stairs of the villa, it goes, you know, around the corner of the bedroom, through like a window, and then up the mountainside and everything like that. And what he does is like, you know, it goes to the top of the mountain to the trees, and then you know, and then what he does when it gets back is he kind of like flicks a pebble, and the pebble like bounces and, you know, lands one place, and it starts like this Rube Goldberg chain reaction, so that at the top of the mountain a rock comes, you know, giant boulder comes sliding down and lands right on the bad guy.
I want it to be something that it's not fully resolved. Like, it takes the entire duration of the movie. Like, at the beginning of the movie, he throws, like, he's chopping carrots, and he throws a knife that cuts a string, and that leads to events. Even though he doesn't know the bad stuff is going to happen yet. Like, it already starts off the chain of events, and, you know, and eventually, you know, from... throughout the movie, it cuts back to the different chains of events.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing once you start going with that. Although, I would almost want him to do it on purpose. Like, he takes the knife and he puts it down, or he takes the carrots and he gets done. Then he, like, you just see his eyes like going back and forth, like he's thinking real hard.
Like his eyes, he squints.
Like, you know, his like he just looks left and right real quick, like he's doing REM. You know, like,
or you have the Peter Parker hair's eyes arms kind of like lift up.
Yeah, just a little bit, and then he takes like the one end of the carrot, and you just see him like moving it back and forth, left and right, as if he's like trying to get the exact positioning down, and then he just throws it out the window, and it like knocks down a pebble, and then like every now and again it cuts back to some other weird stuff going on, and then at the end it all comes together where he, you know, it crushes the bad guy with that boulder.
Yeah,
you know, like where he kind of knew there was going to be something, and it was more instinct at that point than anything else.
Like, but you know, as you cut back, the things that are occurring are more and more ridiculous.
Of course.
Like, one of them's a mannequin driving a tractor. You know, just something absolutely ludicrous.
I was gonna say that, like, at one point it's it's like a snowblower or something is going by, and it like runs over a snowman, and like one piece of the coal eye or something goes flying off and lands on like a button, and that starts a turbine. And then we just cut away knowing that's going to lead to something else.
We don't know what it is, and then it cuts back and it's a turtle riding on the back of a cheetah.
And then the cheetah stops, and the turtle, rolls down, spins, and like its tail flicks like a log or something, and the log slowly rolls down a hill.
and then, then it goes back to Dolph doing what he does, and then
like
it cuts
the story. Yeah.
Then it cuts back to Antarctica, where these archaeologists are digging up the remnants of some ancient civilization, and some bird some albatross lands like a doofus over some artifact, and it activates ancient technology which sends a beam to the sun and blacks out the sun.
I wasn't thinking of that nature. I was thinking more like it goes to Antarctica where like a guy's they're digging with pickaxe or something. There's like a hot spring, and it blows the guy's head, like his face, and he screams, and then you just see the ripples of his shout just go on and on and on throughout the world until
I like yours better.
Reaches back to Italy.
It reaches like the screams spook some local whales. There's no elk in Antarctica.
Oh, I thought you meant in Italy.
Like spook some local whales, which cause the entire pod to swim northward towards the Mediterranean.
And then when you do some more story stuff, and then it cuts back to like an elk or something running through Italy, and it kind of runs through the flashback of the father and young Dolph Lundgren, runs in the background, and then keeps on going.
And it's running away from all these beached whales that have just run ashore, and it cut, and then it's Dolph doing more Dolph stuff.
And I think I know how it's going to end, too.
Yeah.
After this whole string of stuff, like Dolph is, he's punched, he's, beaten, and the bad guys, they kind of want to, do the typical bad guy thing of, what does he know? Like, let's just kill him. Like, no, how did he find us,
Yeah.
So they throw him in a prison because they think that one of the people in their villa has talked to the cops, is working with the cops or something. So they take him in there, they rough him up a little bit, you maybe get like a badass like torture scene where he's like, who do you work for? Batman, or something like that. And then they leave, and they shut the door, and they latch it from outside. And then at the end of this, we cut back to all the stuff, happening, and it leads to like a butterfly coming in the window, knocking down a broom, and unlatching the door. And that's how he escapes.
I was going to say, I like mine was the same thing. Like it was him escaping.
Yeah.
But mine was the original carrot that comes through and then lodges into the keyhole.
And then that's it. He's free now.
Yeah, Batman. And then he beats the that would be awesome.
To be fair, I would be so invested in that ridiculous chain of events. Like, it's not just a Rube Goldberg machine. This is a global Rube Goldberg.
It's a Rube Goldberg event.
I was gonna say the same exact thing.
And I would actually be more invested in the B-roll than the actual thing that's going on.
Yeah, I'd be more invested in the Rube Goldberg event than I would be in the Dolph Lundgren story.
Because it's we made it silly, but it's also just a guy going after a bad guy to kill.
And that's the thing.
Family.
Like, we've seen the bad guy revenge trip. Even if you do something cool, like throw his daughter in, to the mix, and like, we've seen this story before. But I've never seen a movie where there is a global Rube Goldberg thing that leads to such a. I mean, it's the only thing it's the thing that saves him and helps him, win the day. But it's not a huge. Payoff. It's just the door comes unlocked. But, he wouldn't have gotten it unlocked any other way.
I know, and he knew. Somehow, on an instinctual level, he knew.
Like, he didn't know the exact specifics of it, but he knew that throwing calibrating that carrot to the exact perfect thing to throw at was the right thing to do. It was something he had to do.
But in the meantime, there were dams that burst, and villages, and entire countries have have resulted in civil war.
There are, at the end of this, there are hundreds of thousands dead or injured. At the end of his Rube Goldberg event, because it's almost like the stars all had to align.
Because he had to throw his carrot.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he had to get the end result. He didn't care about the in between. He didn't really know about the in between, but
the in between didn't matter.
Yeah, and it may have altered the course of all these people's lives, but he needed that door open.
From his perspective, he threw a carrot and then it just ended up in the keyhole.
And he doesn't question it because he kind of knew. He kind of knew something was going to come of it.
Yeah, he knew that carrot was going to end up where it needed to be.
Yeah, he knew that he was throwing that carrot was going to help him out of a jam at some point. And it's almost like that Fringe episode where the guy just knew every eventuality of everything that would happen.
Yeah, he was so super smart that he can plan out every event down to the minutia.
Yeah,
that was an interesting character. I kind of wish they brought him back.
His brain is goop by now.
They just kind of left him in front of a computer screen staring at it.
He was too smart for the world. Anyway, we shouldn't go into that here. We'll probably do Fringe season 3 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. We have to. Didn't we do that already?
Nope, we did season 2.
Oh.
Which will probably be released soon here.
Yeah.
By the time this episode comes out, Fringe season 2's
should be out by then.
Yeah. But this is more of a retrospective of the Fringe season 2 episode. But anywho, Dolph Lundgren. And let's see. Now, I was talking about this when we were watching the movie.
Yeah.
Is that Dolph Lundgren, for all intents and purposes, he's not a terrible actor. He has done decent roles before.
Yeah, he has.
Ivan Drago, it was kind of very one note.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I liked him as a kind of an unhinged bad guy in Universal Soldier.
Yeah, just kind of an unmovable object.
And I do think that in Universal Soldier it was probably a role he probably liked the most because he could just let loose and have fun.
Yeah, and he did.
Yeah, and it was great. But in this, he was just like you said, he was just stumbling around like the Frankenstein.
And he was miserable the entire time.
And it's don't get me wrong, I get this as a revenge trip. Now, I don't know if he lived in Italy or if he was just kind of coming back every 10 years to be like, hey, this is my wife died.
They did not establish anything about him other than he hunts things.
And they didn't even really establish that. They established that he's hunted things once in his life at least.
They established that his father wanted to teach him that at one point.
And, this kind of is reminiscent of another aging action star that we've seen a lot of movies of recently, which is Steven Seagal.
Oh man,
me and Britton kind of when we're not watching movies for all this stuff.
We do this for luxury.
Yeah, we will watch bad movies or good movies just for fun.
Yeah,
because
we rag on them.
Yeah, we just enjoy riffing them.
Yeah, we tore this movie a new asshole. From the get-go.
We just didn't stop making fun of this movie because it was a bad movie. And that's exactly what we liked about it.
It gave us nothing but fodder.
There was just bad decision after bad decision. But Steven Seagal has been in a slew of action movies recently where he just sits on his ass for most of the time, or travels around in his hover-round, and every now and again, maybe at the end of the movie, he'll get up for a very basically choreographed fight sequence.
Yeah, a fight sequence that is filmed so close to him that you can't really tell that it's a lazy action sequence.
A action sequence where it's all top up, so you just assume he's doing it in his chair.
Yeah,
and then that's it. And this movie kind of reeked of that kind of action movie. Even worse, actually, because there really was no action in it.
Yeah, there was. It was, Dolph Lundgren kind of Mr. Magooing around, in order to find people that we didn't know who they were, and I don't think he did either.
Like, there was really no motivation for what he was doing, at least in the detective storyline. Like, the detective was trying to solve this cold case that was 10 years old of the murder of Dolph Lundgren's wife, and kid, I guess. So, like, this is almost established, like, this is at least the motivation for this detective, where he's a new detective on the beat. Dolph Lundgren kind of asks him for help by accident. He starts investigating the case, and at the end, he winds up at the same villa that Dolph Lundgren's at. Yeah. And completely surprised that Dolph Lundgren's there. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Revenge,
What are you doing here?
I was just following up on this case. I met this weird guy at this weird conspiracy board. Yeah, I met him too.
Yeah, we're buds.
Oh. I guess you want to team up? No.
I guess.
All right. And then they team up, and then they win, and that's the movie.
It's though. Part of me wonders if we weren't ragging on this movie, maybe we would have noticed a few more plot points. But
perhaps maybe we had the subtitles on so we could read what's going on.
We did. It was half of it was in Italian. Maybe that was the problem. Is that that wasn't
I can't think it's a problem, because even in the beginning when he's tracking his wife down, like, there's not a word of dialogue that's spoken until that weird old man's like, "Oh, I'm sick, I need help," and then he escapes.
That's right. That's right. I did ask that. Like, has there been a word of spoken dialogue?
No, not at all. So we can't have missed a plot point that wasn't even told to us, And I have a feeling that the rest of the movie was kind of the same way.
Like, maybe it was recorded on like that high-pitched sound that dogs can hear, and the dogs can follow along, or they would if they could understand.
Like, I don't think there was a single dog in the movie, so they were probably upset about that. They were waiting for the dog to come in. Like, there's got to be a dog in this fucking movie. Come on.
That's right. There were no dogs.
Like, no dog.
That is a crime.
Like, we couldn't even have. You couldn't even say that this movie at least provided a moment of dog. Like, a moment of seeing a dog. Like, ooh, look, a dog.
What a good dog.
Yeah, we didn't have that in the movie. We had to say, oh, look at the good caribou, or wherever it was. Oh, that's a cool deer, I guess.
I didn't even say that. I don't care about deer. I have zero emotion, zero empathy.
I've never had a pet deer before, so I guess I don't have any, I guess I don't know the love of a deer.
Oh, what is this, a deer? Oh, good, I'm gonna get ticks.
Yeah. Oh, good, it's eating all my grass. I really wanted that.
Good, all they are just rats with antlers.
Well, you gotta keep a leash on it, or else it'll run right into the middle of the road and
into a school.
Yeah, like, we don't want that. We gotta, I try to keep it in the backyard, but it keeps on getting spooked and running into the fence.
I had deers in my walls one day, and they wouldn't get out. They would just stomp all over the place and then ruin the wiring.
It's like, how hard it is to clean up hoof prints. It's like, oh, what do they have on their damn hooves? Like, tar? I don't know.
It's like they step in mud on purpose to track it in.
And it's like, it's hard because they sink in pretty deep. It's not like a kid or a dog. Like, you can just kind of carpet clean that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just spray some carpet fresh and it's fine.
But they don't understand to wipe their feet. At least not until they're in the house.
And I swear they never cross at the stupid crossing. We put one out right there for them. And where do they cross? Where do they cross? At the intersection. Why are they crossing there?
It's like they want to be hit.
You know how many lawsuits I've had to settle out of court for because they just run in front of people?
Some dumb deer coming in with his neck collar trying to pretend that he's injured. Here we have the defendant.
Bucky Mcbuxen. He claims that he ran into a school and somebody shot him with a dart. I don't know. He is suing for $10,000 in damages.
$10,000 in corn husks.
And here's the defendant, a skunk. The skunk claims that he never went to that school and doesn't even know who the deer is. He's countersuing for $4 billion in rat pellets.
Get out of my court.
Please leave.
And then the deer just freaks out and just stomps everything.
Starts kicking everything.
Because it's a deer and he doesn't understand where he is. And he feels threatened.
And the skunk starts shouting and spraying on the judge. And I imagine the judge is, of course, wearing a powdered wig.
Of course.
And a monocle. And when the skunk sprays him, he screams, he pounds his gavel, and the monocle falls out. And I also imagine his face is kind of like chalky white. Like one of the like the Scarlet Pimpernel or something.
Oh, really? Because I kind of imagined he was like this really, really kind of round, beet red people. Like his blood pressure is always dangerously too high.
He's almost like the judge from Ghostbusters 2.
Or from The Wall.
Tear down the skunk! Tear down the skunk! Okay, so we have radically different ideas of who our judge is.
Yeah, like, yeah, yours is just this ghoulish old man, and mine is a talking asshole.
Yeah, I guess that sums it up.
So it's
that was a bit of a sidetrack.
Yeah, I was gonna. Well,
that's a part of the show.
Yeah, and also we had to do something like the deer provided nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was nothing in this movie that was done well, though. I will submit a question to you.
Go on.
Like, I don't want to end this podcast until we both say one word of praise
to this movie
about this movie. Really think hard.
I think I have one.
You have one? All right.
Yeah. Actually, no, that's not right. I was gonna say it was at least visually shot well. But then I was thinking of that the driving scene
where he's not colored,
where it like they had so little light on him that they had to boost it, and it just looks like he's
digital.
Yeah,
it looks like he was like in the Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, it looked like when you wanted to watch the Disney Channel, but you didn't have the Disney Channel, you would just see the snow.
Yeah, the little scrambled.
Yeah. And that's what it looked like. There was so little light. And then he would pass under a lamp, and it would look like, oh, it's in color now. So I can't say the sound quality wasn't good either.
No,
because,
not at all.
There was a scene where he was talking to the fat man, and it sounded like the fat man was clear, but Dolph Lundgren's mic sounded like it was in the one of the other apartments.
Okay, I think I might have one.
Okay.
This is debatable, so we'll see. I might have to think about another one. But there was a scene where the cop drops a grenade into this, like, I guess, weapons armory, and there's an explosion with people jumping. And I think that the explosion, I mean, I'm sure it was probably CGI, but I couldn't tell it was CGI. And there was actually no, it's a terrible one.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I know. Okay, I think I got one. I got one.
Okay.
There was one interesting moment in the movie when they shot this guy in front of the monitor full of screens, and the bullet went through his head and hit the screen and turned it off. Like, it broke the screen behind him.
I guess that was interesting.
That was judging, grading on a curve.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing the movie provided. A bullet going through somebody and breaking a TV and causing property damage. Like, if Lupo survived, he would be like, oh, damn it, now I gotta fix this TV. TVs aren't free,
Let's see.
My job is done.
So, if a thing of praise.
Yeah, one little thing of praise.
One thing of praise. I guess Dolph Lundgren had a nice scarf in that one scene.
Okay. You know what? That's fine. Dolph Lundgren,
he knows his scarves.
He seemed to be a stylish guy in this. He even drank tea out of a little teacup and put his little pinky up and everything.
His little dainty teacup.
Yeah, so, okay. Yours was one, mine was one, so, yeah, okay. I think
yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, this movie didn't really provide a lot, except for didn't provide a lot of positive moments, but it did sure provide a lot of riffing material.
Oh my goodness! If that is your cup of dainty tea, then definitely go for it.
Yeah, if for some reason, watching aging action stars just do nothing is kind of something that you really like, which I guess is something we really like because we've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, it makes us feel better.
Yeah, it's like, I can run faster than Dolph Lundgren at 63. It's like, I wouldn't need to stop for as many breaks as this guy.
So it looked like he had, like I said before, he had this shambling man of a person with a bad back.
Yeah, it's true. So if that's kind of your cup of tea, then
you're like seeing old men in pain.
Then like we do, then go for it. But yeah, the Tracker, it was
baffling. Baffling film. Kind of a little bit. It was a bit incoherent in what it was trying to tell us, and definitely could have done much better.
The best way I can describe this movie was, have you ever heard a rambling story from, I don't even want to say a raving derelict, just somebody who doesn't really know how to tell a story. Maybe you're at a party or something, or you're hanging out with friends, and you just have one friend who really doesn't know how to tell a story.
Like, they can't stay focused on one thing for long enough.
It kind of goes nowhere. They'll start talking, and then they're like, oh, wait, that reminds me. There's a, there's a thing over there. Like, if someone just doesn't know how to tell a story, like, that is the visual equivalent of this movie. So, if you want to watch it just to kind of see, wow, this is the most baffling piece of entertainment I've ever seen, then no, I still don't recommend it. No, it's not a movie I recommend, is the long and the short of it.
I don't recommend it for someone who is not capable of watching it in the style that we do.
Yeah. Like, if you don't like bad movies, or even if you like bad movies, but you're still, like, if the worst movie you've ever seen is The Room, this might not be for you, because it's a steep cliff to go off of.
This is advanced level watching.
Yeah, advanced level bad movieing.
Yeah.
So, I really think that's going to do it.
Yeah, I think we covered everything, at least as far as I'm willing to go with it.
Yeah. So, well, I guess that's it, everybody.
A toodaloo.
That'll so bees.